What if the secret to having more energy, fewer headaches, better focus, and a calmer mood all day long was sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now, and you've been walking past it for years without ever knowing what it could do for you? Stay with me for the next few minutes, because what I'm about to share changed the way I think about something as simple as a glass of water. And once you hear this, you will never look at your water bottle the same way again. Hello everyone, and welcome back. I'm Dr. Watsun, and today we're talking about something so small, so simple, and so often overlooked that most people will scroll right past it without realizing they're missing one of the easiest changes they could ever make for their daily well-being. We're talking about a pinch, just a pinch of something added to your water, and how that one small habit can influence how you feel from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. Let's start with a question. Have you ever woken up feeling groggy, foggy, maybe even a little anxious or irritable, and you couldn't quite figure out why? You didn't sleep badly, you didn't eat anything unusual the night before, but something just feels off. For a lot of people, the answer isn't found in a supplement aisle or a complicated wellness routine. It's found in something as basic as how well their body is holding on to the water they drink. Plain water, the kind most of us reach for throughout the day, doesn't always get absorbed the way we assume it does. You can drink glass after glass and still feel dehydrated on a cellular level, because water needs help getting into your cells. It needs a little nudge. And that nudge often comes from minerals, specifically electrolytes like sodium, potassium, and magnesium. This is where the idea of a pinch comes in. Many people who study hydration and metabolic health have started adding a small pinch of high-quality salt, sometimes paired with a squeeze of citrus, into their water first thing in the morning or throughout the day. The theory behind this is rooted in basic physiology. Sodium is one of the primary electrolytes your body uses to regulate fluid balance. Without enough of it, water you drink can pass through your system more quickly than your cells can actually use it, meaning you might be drinking plenty of water, but still functioning as if you're dehydrated. Add that small pinch, and you create what's sometimes called a sole solution, or a light mineral water, which may help your body retain and utilize that water more effectively. Now, I want to be clear about something right from the start, because this matters. I'm not telling you to dump spoonfuls of salt into your water glass and call it a health hack. That's not what we're discussing here. We're talking about a literal pinch, a tiny amount, often just an eighth of a teaspoon, or even less, depending on your individual needs, your activity level, your diet, and any existing health conditions you may have. If you have high blood pressure, kidney issues, or any condition that affects how your body processes sodium, this is something you absolutely want to discuss with your doctor before making any changes, because what works beautifully for one person's body chemistry could be completely wrong for someone else's. Your body is not identical to your neighbor's body, your co-worker's body, or mine. We are talking about general wellness concepts here, not personalized medical advice, and the smartest thing you can do is treat this video as a starting point for a conversation with your own healthcare provider, not a replacement for one. With that said, let's talk about why this small habit has captured so much attention. Think about how your day typically unfolds. You wake up. Maybe you reach for coffee before you've had a sip of water. By midday, you're feeling that familiar afternoon slump. Your concentration drifts. Maybe you get a headache that creeps in around 2 or 3 in the afternoon. By evening, you're exhausted in a way that doesn't quite make sense given how little you actually did that day. For many people, this entire pattern traces back to one quiet, invisible issue: chronic low-grade dehydration at the cellular level, paired with an electrolyte imbalance that nobody ever diagnosed because it doesn't show up as a dramatic symptom. It just shows up as feeling a little off, a little tired, a little foggy, day after day after day. When your body has the right balance of electrolytes alongside adequate water intake, something shifts. Your cells can actually use the water you're drinking instead of it passing through your system without doing its job. This is why some people report feeling more alert within minutes of adding a pinch of mineral-rich salt to their morning water. It's not magic. It's basic physiology finally getting what it needs to function the way it was designed to function. Your nerve cells communicate using electrical signals, and those signals depend on a delicate balance of sodium and potassium moving in and out of your cells. When that balance is off, even slightly, you can feel it in ways that are hard to put into words. A mental fog, a heaviness behind your eyes, a general sense of sluggishness that coffee doesn't quite fix, because what your body actually needed wasn't more caffeine, it was better hydration on a cellular level. There's also a connection here to something many of us deal with constantly without naming it: stress-related fatigue. Your adrenal glands, the small glands that sit on top of your kidneys, play a major role in regulating sodium balance in your body through a hormone called aldosterone. When you're under chronic stress, your body's handling of sodium and water can shift in ways that leave you feeling drained even when you're getting enough sleep. Some wellness practitioners believe that supporting your body with adequate, balanced minerals can help take some pressure off this system, allowing you to feel more stable and less reactive throughout a demanding day. Again, this isn't a guaranteed fix for stress or fatigue, and if you're dealing with persistent exhaustion, that's absolutely something to bring up with a doctor, because fatigue can be a sign of many different underlying issues that deserve real medical attention. But for the everyday tiredness that so many people simply accept as normal, sometimes the missing piece really is this simple. Let's talk about the kind of salt people typically use for this, because not all salt is created equal, and this matters more than you might think. Standard table salt has been heavily processed and stripped of many trace minerals, and it often contains additives to prevent clumping. Many people instead reach for unrefined sea salt, or Himalayan pink salt, which naturally contain a broader spectrum of trace minerals beyond just sodium chloride, including small amounts of magnesium, potassium, calcium, and other minerals your body uses in various processes. The idea is that this broader mineral profile may offer your body a more complete set of tools to work with compared to the single note of refined table salt. Some people take this even further, using what's called a sole solution, which involves dissolving sea salt in water in a glass jar until the water becomes fully saturated, and then adding just a teaspoon of that concentrated solution to a full glass of water each morning. This method allows for a consistent, controlled amount of mineral-rich salt water without guessing at measurements every single day. Beyond salt, some people also add a squeeze of fresh lemon or lime to their water alongside that pinch of salt, creating a combination that some refer to as a natural electrolyte drink. The citrus adds vitamin C and a bit of potassium, along with a flavor that makes the whole habit more enjoyable and easier to stick with. After all, the best wellness habit in the world doesn't matter if you can't keep doing it consistently, and a glass of water with a hint of citrus is simply more pleasant to drink first thing in the morning than plain salty water on its own. Consistency matters more than perfection here. A habit you can actually maintain every single day will always outperform a complicated routine you abandon after a week. Now let's talk about how this might actually feel in real life, because I think it's easy to get lost in theory and forget what we're actually talking about, how you feel, hour by hour, throughout your day. Imagine waking up, and instead of immediately feeling like you need 3 cups of coffee just to function, you feel a little more clear-headed within the first half hour of your day. Imagine getting through your morning meetings without that familiar mental fog settling in around 11. Imagine reaching 2 o'clock in the afternoon and not feeling that crushing wave of fatigue that makes you want to put your head down on your desk. These are the kinds of small, cumulative shifts that people who experiment with this habit often describe. Not a dramatic transformation overnight, but a gradual sense of feeling more like themselves, more present, more capable of handling whatever the day throws at them. It's also worth talking about headaches, because this is one of the most commonly reported benefits among people who try adding a pinch of mineral salt to their water. Tension headaches and even some forms of migraine have been linked, in various studies and clinical observations, to dehydration and electrolyte imbalances. If you're someone who reaches for water and pain relievers every time a headache strikes, but never quite gets to the root of why these headaches keep happening, it might be worth considering whether your hydration habits are giving your body what it actually needs to prevent that pain in the first place. Again, I want to stress that headaches can have many causes, some of which require medical evaluation, especially if they're severe, frequent, or accompanied by other symptoms. But for the garden variety tension headache that so many of us experience as just a normal part of a busy week, sometimes the answer really is hiding in something as simple as better mineral balance. There's another piece of this puzzle worth mentioning, which is exercise and physical activity. If you work out regularly, play sports, or simply have a physically demanding job, you lose electrolytes through sweat throughout the day. Plain water alone doesn't replace those lost minerals, which is part of why some people feel weak, dizzy, or crampy after intense physical activity, even when they've been drinking plenty of water. A pinch of mineral salt in your water before or after exercise can help replenish what your body has lost, supporting muscle function and helping you recover more effectively. This is actually one of the oldest applications of this concept, long before it became a wellness trend online. Athletes and people who work physically demanding jobs in hot climates have understood the importance of electrolyte replacement for generations, even if they never used the specific language we use today. I also want to touch on something a little less talked about, which is the relationship between hydration, mineral balance, and your mood. This is an area where the science is still developing, and where individual experiences vary widely, so I want to be careful not to overstate things here. But there is a growing body of interest in how something as fundamental as proper hydration and electrolyte balance might influence things like irritability, anxiety, and overall emotional regulation. Your brain is incredibly sensitive to even small shifts in your body's fluid and mineral balance, given how much of your neurological function depends on precise electrical signaling. Some people who have adjusted their hydration habits report feeling calmer, more emotionally even, and less reactive to daily stressors. I want to be honest with you that this is not a substitute for addressing mental health concerns through proper channels, including therapy or medical care when needed. If you're struggling with your mental health, please reach out to a professional who can actually support you, because that kind of support matters far more than anything in a glass of water. But for everyday emotional steadiness, for that baseline sense of feeling okay, rather than on edge, some people genuinely find that addressing basic physiological needs like hydration plays a bigger role than they ever expected. So how would you actually start experimenting with this for yourself, if you're curious? The most common approach people take is starting their morning with a large glass of water containing a small pinch, and I mean genuinely small, of high-quality sea salt or Himalayan salt, sometimes combined with fresh lemon juice. Many people do this before their first cup of coffee, giving their body a chance to rehydrate and rebalance before introducing caffeine, which itself has a mild diuretic effect and can contribute to fluid loss if you're not balancing it with adequate hydration. From there, some people continue sipping mineral-enhanced water throughout the day, especially if they're physically active, while others find that one well-prepared glass in the morning is enough to notice a difference in how they feel. I want to circle back to something important before we wrap up, because I never want this channel to be a place where you walk away thinking a single habit is some kind of cure-all. Your body is complex. Your well-being is influenced by sleep, nutrition, stress, movement, relationships, genetics, and so much more. A pinch of salt in your water is not going to undo the effects of chronic sleep deprivation, a consistently poor diet, or unmanaged stress. What it can do, for many people, is remove one small but meaningful obstacle that's been quietly working against their energy and focus without them ever realizing it. Sometimes the smallest adjustments create the most noticeable shifts, simply because they're addressing something so fundamental that we've overlooked it entirely. Your body has been asking for proper hydration and mineral balance for years, and most of us have just never been listening closely enough to hear it. If you decide to try this for yourself, pay attention to how you feel over the course of a week or two, rather than expecting an instant transformation after one glass. Notice your energy levels, your mental clarity, whether your headaches become less frequent, whether your afternoon slump feels less severe. And please, if you have any underlying health conditions, particularly anything related to blood pressure, heart health, or kidney function, have a real conversation with your doctor before making this part of your routine, because informed choices are always better than blind trend following, no matter how good something sounds in a video. Subscribe request. If this video gave you even one small idea you're excited to try, do me a favor before you go anywhere. Hit that subscribe button right now, because this channel exists for exactly this kind of thing. Simple, honest, practical wellness information that you can actually use in your real life, without the overwhelm and without the gimmicks. Every single video I make is built around helping you feel better, think clearer, and understand your own body just a little bit more than you did yesterday. When you subscribe, you're not just adding a number to a screen, you're joining a growing community of people who are genuinely committed to taking small, sustainable steps toward feeling their best, and I promise you, the moment you turn on notifications, you will never miss the next piece of the puzzle that could be exactly what your body has been waiting for. So go ahead, tap that subscribe button, ring the bell, and let's keep figuring this out together, one simple habit at a time.